Neoplanet S.
Welcome to Neoplanet S. In the top right corner of the map, we have from Team Evil Geniuses, the IEM Shanghai champion, it's Revival.
That was cool.
Thank you.
In the bottom left-hand corner, the Chinese player that is up 1-0 against the Korean monster. It is IG's MacSed.
So it's going to be Protoss Berserk on Neoplanet S, a map that's also very famous for two-base shoving with Immortals.
You don't say.
Yes.
Partially because favor.
Just because it's a little tough. I wonder if MacSed will two-base push. It's a little tougher. Oh, sorry. It's a very optimal choice of builds because 3 bases on Neoplanet S is a little bit hard for Protoss to secure, don't you think?
Very much so.
Like
I
in
mean,
these open areas. And
the mid-left expansion really doesn't exist for much at the beginning of the game. There's only the real way to expand is to take that middle bottom expansion. And then you form this triangle where you only have to defend, as Day9 would say, the hypotenuse. A lot easier to defend that. And there's a major focal point where you can actually defend most incoming attacks. Gateway expand coming out from MacSed, so you'll be going back to his regular play. I feel like Gateway expands, Ferdinand. It actually gives you a lot more room to mind game your opponent with the Gateway pressure.
yes, definitely. It just gives you more options overall.
Yeah.
I just like Gateway expands for that very reason.
And it's funny because I disagreed with you a long time ago. I was like, no.
Gateway expands? You
I
always
was like
thought Forge was better.
Yeah, I was like, Forge fast expansions are so much better because you're not allocating gas to defense. Normally you have to get sentries, you got to get stalkers, but now all of a sudden you don't have to. That's why Forge, you can allocate it better, but there's more of a punch to that Gateway expand, right?
Right, and the Mothership Core also offers a very safe alternative to recall.
Yeah.
And I remember in the HOTS beta, Andre, I was Gateway expanding like a madman because you can recall with the Mothership without having to have the Mothership there. You just be able to sit the Mothership Core at the main base and then just pressure. And all of a sudden, a 4-gate attack early on wasn't necessarily an all-in. Actually, no attack was an all-in ever because you could always recall.
Yeah. It's good times.
It still kind of isn't, if you think about it. But it's just that it's a little bit riskier because the Mothership Core has to be with the
army. It needs to be exposed, right? Yeah. So, wow, look at that. Look at the expansion positioning. Now, this is something a little bit unorthodox. Again, we look at Revival taking this mid-right expansion, and I feel like a lot of players get punished for this. The distance between the third and the natural is a long time. So mainly, your creep spread is built to defend those areas, but all of a sudden, you can't defend against the 2 entrances at the third base.
Yeah,
or at least you can't spread creep, I'm sorry.
It's a little tricky. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how Revival chooses to do this. If he wants to favor, you know, a little like more queens early on, less defense, and how he's going to gas. He is going to take 1 gas at the 5-minute mark. That's interesting. Normally you don't see that. Usually it's a double gas at 6 or maybe one at 4:30-ish, but it's kind of in between there. What do you think, Retweet?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay. He's staggering his gas.
He is staggering. He will get his gas around 8 minutes. That's when it'll finish. I'm trying to think. Maybe 8 minutes so that he can take complete map. Oh, of course he went Gateway expand. He needs to get a faster gas. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's actually late, I would say, for Gateway expand. Very, very late. Normally you see that anywhere from, honestly, I'll say all the way to 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 5 minutes. But past 5 minutes is normally considered late because a lot of Gateway openings can punish
he's playing greedy, is that what you're saying?
I am saying he's playing very greedy. Because look at the time right now, 6:30. Gateway warp gate is up. You do not have metabolic boost.
3 gates are done.
This could be 5-gate pressure. He's dead, right?
Yeah, but we have seen Revival hold off early pressures on fast 3 hatcheries before. Now the interesting thing is, MacSed sends out a Phoenix. Now normally, we've been seeing so many Stargate builds out of MacSed that you can say it could be a real Phoenix, but it's not because you see no damage on your Overlords, and you'll see how fast it dies to some Queen shots. But MacSed does end up getting some good scouting information and sees the 3rd base. Now he is just adding straight up gateways.
5-gate pressure.
Man, 5-gate with the Forge coming up behind it.
And this is really unfortunate.
Nope. Sorry, no forge. Just raw gateways. I like it. This is like the Rotterdam build, except Rotterdam likes going for a Warp Prism as well. Yeah. It's just like the straight up sentry attack with a Warp Prism.
This is kind of crazy. And Metabolic Boost was not prioritized, by the way, the first 100 gas. It was a lair. So that does delay Metabolic Boost by a good 25 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of time. That means it's going to come out at 9 minutes-ish, I would say.
Ooh,
and
man.
Guess what? Metabolic Boost isn't there in time to stop any potential pylons being placed down preemptively. Of course, we don't see that from MacSed. But even this push, how are you going to stop it? It's only going to be roaches. He has good creep spread. This is going to be difficult. It all comes down to your micro.
Yep, your micro, your positioning, how MacSed chooses his engagements. One thing I like is Revival does have his creep connected. Now MacSed's going to start poking at these drones, trying to see if he can bait out some of the units, pick up the queen perhaps. He's going to dive in, he's going to commit to a third attack immediately rather than wait for reinforcements and drop one of the time warps to kind of discourage the roaches from moving any far forward. The pylon is on the middle of the creep. MacSed managed to get down, and that is a huge reinforcement point for the Protoss player.
Oh yeah, just right away warped in, and he can start engaging in battle. There's nice force fields.
Oh, beautiful force fields
of units.
MacSed.
And time warps. There's just too much stuff, Rodan.
I think MacSed should be... Oh, no, the roaches are flanking from behind, getting good shots on the sentries. More warp-ins. Revival has to kind of split up his units and try to buy more time. Protoss supply is climbing, but Revival still has a couple more chances where he can get waves of units to try to decisively smack down. Mothership Core still trying to build up energy. Does have enough energy for one more time warp, but we do have MacSed trying to swing around, doesn't want to kill the third off because he knows the Broodlings could be a big trap.
He's given chase, and look at that. He's killing a lot of straggling units coming out from the third base. I was going to say, I like the approach coming in from the bottom right-hand side. He's a lot better. What?
MacSed is supply blocked. He can't warp in units. He has to make another pylon. That is a big mistake if you want to keep compounding the strength of his army.
Yeah, definitely so. But killing the third base is... He has a 98% chance of winning this.
I would be very hesitant to say what he's going to do. MacSed gets surrounded. And Revival, the 2% Zerg, gets the perfect surround. Is he able to finish it off? MacSed's units are getting extremely low. The roach count is dwindling. It's a little bit hard to tell what's going on. The reinforcement Zerglings might not be able to match. The reinforcement Stalker supplies are dead even, Greetorp.
And roaches are going to get cleaned up over here. Additional warp-ins are coming in slowly but surely. You can see the bank over there. It's just ready and willing to be spent. Oh, nice. Zergling's going to surround here. Metabolic Boost has finished, of course, way beforehand.
Oh, no.
And it looks like MacSed might be held off here. It's going to be tough to say.
He's pushing back. He's transitioning. He's making probes and a robotics facility.
Man, that is a Hitman transition right there. Really nicely done. Just saying, okay, well, this is not working out nearly as much. I killed the third base. I'm still pretty far ahead. I killed a lot of drones this time, as opposed to the last PvZ.
Yes. And Revival is hurting. He is stung. He put some Neosporin on it, and it still is not healing fast because Revival has bled so much. He's lost his economy. He's lost so much of his army. I mean, he sacrificed so much in order to get that to hold off the push, but at least his tournament life is still alive.
Yeah, and we're going to probably see some sort of Immortal timing directly after this. Yep, Immortal's coming up right away. A lot of times you have these constant phases because what ends up happening is your army is so much more cost efficient than your opponents, and you don't want that third to start getting up. It takes a lot of time to actually materialize off the income of your third bases, right? You have to spend the drones normally, and then you have to wait for the income to actually come in, and then you use that income to make units. That's like a 2 to 3 minute period where you really have to wait until you materialize off of a base. That's why he's going to start timing his attacks to line up with how that third base starts to yield minerals.
And now MacSed will start poking and just trying to see where the third progress is. Meanwhile, second Immortal will finish momentarily. 3 Immortals is usually the money number because you can practically one-shot a Roach. Yes, you should be able to one-shot a Roach, barring any kind of unusual amount of upgrades.
Yes, sir.
I just have to verify for my own sanity, Andre.
It's 165.
145.
No, 165 damage that does with +1, right?
Yeah. You
For
get
3
plus
shots?
5 for the plus armor.
Yeah.
So I was just like making sure, because like sometimes the math gets a little bit tricky. MacSed just has so much army supply. Holy cow! 83 supply worth of units.
Here we go. And it's going to be delayed 15 minutes into the game, but still it's 2 base against 3 base.
We talked about how good immortal pushes are on this map, and I don't take back my words, Andre.
You definitely
If
don't,
you had
man.
to give a percentage chance of success for this attack.
98%, Frodan. Now comes the big roach.
All right, so Revival.
Oh my God.
Revival setting up the best possible scenario.
Oh my
MacSed
God.
is engaging in most open area possible. Double time warp in almost the same location, but it might not matter. There's just so much DPS from the Protoss army.
And so many sentries. Every single one of those roaches that were on the wrong side of the wall got cleaned up so fast. How does Revival engage against such a massive army? Surrounding that army is really not possible, Frodan. There's just too much stuff. It takes up too much mass.
Revival instead will try to see if he can sandwich as best as he can. He is going to try to commit to it. This could be the closing moments of the match. MacSed needs to win this if he wants to advance to the round of 8, as he is putting out big damage on all the Roach army. MacSed, the Korean IEM Shanghai champion, the runner-up for WCS America Season 2. Is he going to fall right here, right now, to the Chinese Protoss, who nobody really expected him to get this far in the tournament?
Unreal. MacSed has always been a contender, but never a champion. He has his chance to do that as he pushes on into his opponent's base and also into the round of 8. Taking out the natural roaches are going to swing in.
The last stand. MacSed, he doesn't want to kill the hatch because he doesn't want the Broodlings, instead using it as a
really
natural
smart
force field. A very brilliant tactic in the last couple of seconds as Revival, the closing seconds of this match. Where did it go all wrong? And he was not able to defend the attack, but instead now will have to fall to the Challenger League.